G'day and welcome to Torment Thursdays. I realized when I was planning this recording that Torment Tides of Numenera releases on the 28th, which means that sticking to my regular schedule, I have 3 episodes left. So rather than messing around, the idea is going to be trying to make sure I can actually finish the beta again before that point. So here we are. We're at the Sanctuary. Is this your... Oh, this place was your creators. We must search this place thoroughly. So, that's the idea here. We've got a bunch of mirrors. We've got things we can look at. Let's go touch things. As you approach the machine, Callistige rushes to examine it more closely. This device, your sire used it to maintain access to the datasphere. I must know how. Did he leave notes nearby? Manuensis. Is there a way to... Oh wait, actually I can totally do all of... spend my effort now. I'm going to use something to restore my intellect after this. You feel an itching sensation at the base of your skull. Suddenly your right hand starts moving of its own volition, jabbing down to touch the nearby floor in a frenzied but purposeful series of movements. Next to your feet, a stone compartment slides open. It reveals a leather-bound journal within. Callistige approaches it with reverence. May I? She asks, holding out her hands for the book. It belonged to my sire. I'd like to look at it first. I see. She considers you, folding her hands demurely in front of her. Is it because you don't trust me with the knowledge it contains? No, don't answer. I'll find out what it contains eventually. She returns to looking at the Numenera without a backward glance. But don't think I will forget. So, backpack. This heals 10 points and gives us an 1 edge, yeah.
Just what I need.
Delicious. Okay. Inventory. Really? There. Thank you. This leather-bound journal is filled with various diagrams, notes, and observations of the machines you found in the engines buried beneath the cliffs. The handwriting is your creator's. It chronicles his analysis of the datasphere, the net of information that surrounds and permeates the world's air. Some people have drawn power from the world, and others have found a way to transmit knowledge in the blink of an eye. It seems that these machines may have been intended to transmit consciousness itself, or at least take a rudimentary first step in that direction. The exact steps are unclear, though someone with an extensive background in consciousness transfer or machine intelligence might be able to recreate his work. That sounds pretty neat. Let's talk to Callistige. You wanted to change your God's notes on the datasphere? Here, take them. She turns it over in her hands, examining every inch of the binding. Your sire always has such marvelous craftsmanship, she murmurs, slowly releasing the drawstring that binds it closed. As she flips through the pages slowly, first, then faster, you catch sight of diagrams, notations, and drawings, all of them your sire's machines beneath the city of Sagus. Thank you. Callistige breathes without looking up and moves away to continue her study of the book's contents. Yes, interesting. She catches you looking at her. His observations on the datasphere are fascinating. Nothing I can share yet. It's purely conjecture. The information must be powerful, else he wouldn't have hidden it. Well put, dear. We shall see. Okay, so she takes it and doesn't give it back. Let's just check if the mirrors show anything funky, or if they're just mirrors. They're just mirrors right now. Let's go have a look at this thing. The device looks as though it was once part of some larger device or network of devices embedded in the rock beneath the city. Thick cables disappear into the walls. The machine gives off a low hum just at the edge of your hearing. It feels oddly familiar. Let's try and figure out how it works. Touching the etched surface reveals a display beneath, but it seems unresponsive to your gestures and commands. The display does show a vast network of other devices it must be connected to. If you're reading it correctly, there's a vast array of machines and engines operating somewhere underneath the city. This interface might control them. Let's try and use it. Nope, unresponsive. I guess we gotta do something else first. This is a picture of the sorrow. If the text would go away, we could actually have a look at it. Interesting that it won't. Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty monstrous. And that's the exit. That was just a machine. So now we use the mirrors. A staggering array of mirrors and lenses encircles you. Cables run from from the backs of various machines scattered throughout the room. Behind the display, you hear a hinge creak. Study the lenses and mirrors. The mirrors twitch as you gaze from surface to surface. Eventually you realize why. They're attuned to your mind. You can move each one as effortlessly as your own hand. Every surface shows something else beside your reflection. A sliver of glass highlights a red cord around your throat. A small oval mirror lingers on a pulsing blue star beneath your forehead. The mirrors to either side of the large central mirror periodically flash purple. The tiny lenses above it all crane their necks to study you. You sense danger here as well. No, not sense. Remember. You remember that these mirrors are directed not just at this world, but at others as well. You can see these things in mirrors that aren't visible to the naked eye. If you aren't careful, they will see you too. Watch for the purple glow on the side mirrors. As soon as you look to the mirror to the left, a torrent of radiant light flows through you, nearly tugging you off your feet. You regain your balance just in time to see the light pass into the mirror on your right. In that mirror, you see a machine aglow with the same purple light you spotted before. If you allow the light to carry you, chances are it will take you to wherever that machine is. Sure, let's give it a go. A flood of purple light streams from the mirror as soon as you look at it. It lifts you from your feet and carries you into the mirror on the other side. And they were never seen again. Oh. Oh, really? Shortcut. The machine's solid now. Examine the clock machine again, maybe? Step away. So... what are we meant to do there, then? We talk to Casmi? You returned, revered one. How may we assist you today? That's not what I wanted to do. I can't tell them about the location of the sanctuary. Can I interact with the machine? That one's done. Can I interact with any of the other machines?
Yes.
But I need to, like, there's stuff I need to do at the sanctuary. Although, no, I don't actually. Not for the main quest line. This machine towers above you like a dagger driven into the ground by a giant. It seems much older than the surrounding buildings. Your hands itch to touch the array of dark panels scattered around the machine, as though they have touched them before. Let's try to remember why. Well, I mean, we've got the double edge, so it's literally free. Let's do it. You close your eyes to better concentrate, sinking into the currents of a memory that does not belong to you, or at least not to the body you are in, and you hear the thunderous heartbeat of the operational generator calling to you from across the centuries. You open cold, focused eyes. Ignoring the screams of the drifting tangles of black smoke, your attention is solely focused on the health of the machine's heartbeat. You reach into the hissing guts of the generator, adjusting and tuning, hoping. The heartbeat fades into the past. Your hand, your body's hand, rests on the rusty surface of the long-dead generator. So, there's really nothing you can do. It was used to basically hide this city in time. So, that's, yeah, all pretty cool, but not actually what we were after. We didn't get to really mess with the sanctuary, but on the other hand, technically speaking, we don't need to. Because the key part was finding the sanctuary, which allows us to talk to the mapper and tell him where the sanctuary is, and that allows us to find Matkina. So, I think we can totally, like, leave Sega's Cliffs if we were... Oh, I didn't notice those now. That's really good. Okay. Let's head over to the Stitcher no, not the Stitcher incursion. The mapper. The mapper should be over here somewhere. Here he is. I have discovered the location of the Changing God Sanctuary. The mapper leans forward and the blue eye begins to gleam more brightly. Tell me about it, he whispers. As you speak, Mapper stares at the exposed patch of flesh on his arm. New lines etch into his skin, unfurling themselves across the space. He smiles tightly and shifts. Yes, he mutters. Yes! He points to one line. Here, in the void beneath the city. What's this in the mural? He looks more closely at his arm and recoils. Ah, gods, it's even terrifying from here. He rubs at his skin as if trying to rid himself of the mural's image. His blue eye looks anywhere but at himself, and he shivers bone deep. Don't envy you seeing that thing, friend. Not at all. He slaps his face a bit, bringing some flush to cheeks, and smiles again. Anyway, I owe you a map, don't I? He takes a big breath and says, The White Death is hiding in a place called the Cave of Last Words. It's an old thief's portals. They say Chilla herself used it. They don't say where it is. This isn't Paisner. It's always been my watchword.
Remember that.
There's one way to get through it, to get to it through the caravanserai, but it's sealed tight and I never found a way in. You can get there from the underground. The Stitcher know. They dug there. They can dig there again. Okay. That's fantastic. That is exactly what we needed. Unfortunately, we have a big Stitcher friend over here. And that will tell us that because we helped him and his find a good new home, we can say, hey, can you take us somewhere? I want to go to the Cave of Last Words. Friend to Stitcher, yes, no pay for you, free. Is close to surface, atop of city. Took another human there once. Chekek travel where egg friend want, we go. So yeah, this all seems pretty worthwhile. Boom!
Who are you?
This woman's skin is white, the color of alabaster or fresh ivory. Flat, black eyes, surrounded by sharp, pointed features, stare coldly at you. She wears jet black hair cut straight at the shoulders. Her clothes are functional and drab. Her cloak is fastened by a neck of 5 canisters, each of different shape. She turns a black device over and over in her hands.
Where did you come from? How did you know where to find me?
Her startled expression becomes a dark glower. A keen blade flickers through her fingers. You're sure it wasn't there a moment ago. She leans in close to you. I wouldn't have thought it possible, but it appears we've found someone even more paranoid. Oh, sorry. It's Callistige that's talking. I wouldn't have thought it possible, but it appears we've found someone even more paranoid than poor Alligern. Mappa told me where to find you. Who? I don't know. Wait, him? That tattooed freak who can't stop talking about every speck of dirt he's ever set foot on? How did he get here? What did he see? She casts her gaze around the cave as if to assure herself that nothing is missing. Her voice hardens. Maybe I need to hang a map or two around here. Improve the decor. She begins to pace, muttering to herself. Where was he? Cliff's Edge, Circus Minor? No, he was hiding, looking for something down below. That's why he came looking for me. Her eyes flash triumphant. He's in the underbelly, isn't he? It'll be short work. He's slow, doesn't use weapons well, bit of a limp. Yes, just as soon as She sees you standing there. Her hand jerks and the blade is there again, as if she'd forgotten you were here. She glances at your tattoo. How new are you? What were the circumstances of your birth? When did you happen? I was born as my body fell from an exploding moon. Ha! That bastard of a creator always finds a way to abandon us at the worst possible moment. Have you heard the stories of Tuck or Inaferi yet? You should. What of them? What of them? If you think you can overpower me with mortals, you're mistaken. Oh, she is fascinating, isn't she? A wicked smile crosses Callistige's lips. What did you say? You're trespassing in my home, you know. Coming out with a cast-off makes you more suspicious, not the other way around. Trust me, we mean no harm. I don't trust you, that's the problem. But fine. She flicks her hand and the knife disappears. Disemboweling you would be just a waste of time for me anyway. She turns back to her workbench and picks up the device again. Then she spits on the floor and scuffs it with her boot, all nervous energy. So what did you want from me? I heard you might know who can repair a device I found in the reef. Something called a resonance chamber. The resonance? A glint of understanding shines in her eyes. Ah, yes, of course, he would have hidden it there. A crooked grin plays about the corners of her mouth and then vanishes. I know who can help you. Or did. She shakes her head. It slips away. My mind has holes in it. One of our brothers took a rusty scalpel to my thoughts. My memories. I can't... She trails off, and she catches hold of the table, and it seems to anchor her. Her eyes harden.
I'll remember that.
No, you must do something for me. She caresses the black, jagged device, knobbed and protruding with antenna, a sigil reminiscent of your tattoos emblazoned on it. This is Tasha's marecaster. I want you to enter his mare and find out what you can about the Jacques. I'm convinced that's a key. What is a Jacques? You don't know? I thought it was a common instrument. No, it mustn't be so much anymore. One of the curses of a long life. Fashions come and go before you even know they exist. Perhaps it's easier just to let them go, or make new ones of your own, like some of the other cast-offs. Sorry, nope, not sorry. You should know this. You should know these things about history. That's what life is, knowing and doing. Makini, you need to focus. Tell him what he needs. She breathes deeply. A Jacques is an ancient woodwind, and this one was kept in a sealed cave behind massive doors from a prior world. It had powers, but I can't remember what those powers were. What's a marecaster? Huh, am I really the first one to say the word to you? Oh, you're in for a surprise, dear brother. Every cast-off has one, just like every cast-off has this. And she taps the tattoo on your head. No one knows what they're for. Adiris used to think they were a byproduct of the transfer process, just like us. She seems lost in thought for a moment. Wherever they came from, they can be used like a kind of temporal viewer. You relive the event in the life of the cast-off whose marecaster it is. That event is called a mare. Can a marecaster be used to spy on other cast-offs then? Not spy, more like seeing pictures of the past, like watching them from inside their minds at times when they burned or raged or changed, when their life was at a moment of flux. Why can't you enter the mare? Don't you think I've tried? She snarls with sudden rage, her knife a handspan from your neck. Do you think I will waste my time with a newborn? A thief who steals into my home? If there were any chance I could do this by myself. Her shoulders heave up and down with each angry breath. I try and my mind fills with static. Like I'm talking to a murder, only it slashes and stabs and burns me and... She blinks then, confused. Why am I angry? Did you... She straightens, flipping the knife back into her cloak. No, it'll be alright. Just find the damn Jacques and I'll tell you whatever you need to know. And how do I enter a mare? An almost palpable hunger fills her eyes, a yearning. Hold the marecaster, you'll feel the tug immediately. Don't resist. Empty your mind and let the tides pull you into the mare. She collects herself. Then just watch him. Watch for the Jacques. When you see what he's done with it, pull your mind away from Tasha's and tell me what you saw. Oh, and don't try and change anything. If the Jacques is a key, what does it unlock? Her brow furrows, confused for a moment. She curses. If I knew that, I wouldn't need your help, would I? She lets out a long sigh. He stole that memory from me, alright? If you can find it for me, it'll all come back. All of it. Why shouldn't I try and change things in the mare? What did you mean by that? Nothing serious. She says it as though speaking to an overly concerned child. She laughs suddenly. It's not like you can change the past, but I need you to learn a specific piece of information. If you change something, then you might go the wrong way. I'll do it. I'll enter the mare for you. She plucks Tasha's marecaster from the table, and she looks at you, back at the device. She licks her lips as if weighing her options, and then, before she can hesitate anymore, slaps it into your hands. It's surprisingly heavy. Do it, she says, her voice heavy. Find the Jacques. Bring me my answers. You focus on the device, and you feel something tugging at your mind. Okay, so the last version of the beta, this was clearly like beta art. And this time, this definitely looks a lot more complete. That's really cool. And these are kind of choose your own adventure sections, a little bit like the bits in Pillars of Eternity where they're trying to do things that the animation system really doesn't support. So yeah, these are pretty cool. They used to force you through one at the end of character creation. That was when character creation took ages, and they rightly thought maybe they should fix that. So here we are. Everything is wrong. Tasha's body, yours now, clings like a wet cloak. The world is too bright for nighttime. Everything is too clear. Distances too close. Edges too sharp. Memories like blood flies buzz about your head, whizzing away before you can catch them. Hard-ridden Anine heave their flanks and huff behind you. Like you, they've gone too long without rest. And there's Matkina. A much newer Matkina, as drawn by a pandering portraitist. Too soft, too fresh, too pretty, all wrong. On the wastes you see the light of campfires, and in the humble village before you, a bigger, brighter fire burns. It's a pyre. So, inside, a body that's too large burns too slowly. Greasy coils of smoke rise into the night. Villagers circle a bonfire, wailing and shaking. The headman's rough voice continues the ritual. From exile you are released. Among the mourners some echo, you are released. He throws a handful of powder into the fire, metal salts perhaps, and a spray of shining embers rises into the night, mostly gold, some green, some purple. From wrath you are released. They echo him as the embers float out toward the plains and fade among the stars and campfires. You hear Matkina whisper reverently, you are released. Matkina, listen to me. Let's see. Or let's go with perception. Stare at the distant campfires. Try and see what they are. Yeah. You squint your unnatural eyes and focus until the pyre, the village, everything else fades away. At last the blurry campfires resolve into something crisper, and you see the faint shadows of men around them, men in long coats and broad hats, painstakingly cleaning their jazales and daggers. There are perhaps 100 of them. Matkina sees you staring and grunts. Sand Knights. From her tone, it's obvious they're no friends of hers. Or yours. Try to remember who you are and why you are here. The memories try to buzz away, but you're too quick for them. You seize and squeeze. This body, you, are Tash. You already knew that, but now you know yourself as you didn't before. The body fits better. You're a cast-off. When you call on the tides, you can destroy memories. You're a soldier of sorts, in service of the militia, under the command of Paj Reken. You're a scout, Matkina's spotter. You two are not warriors, you're specialists, you're killers. But you're not here to kill. You're here to promise something to the villagers and to get an object, a flute of some sorts, the Jacques. As for why, that memory and the others remain beyond your reach. Okay. Wait until the ritual is finished. As the body burns and the mourners chant, you wait in the shadows at the edge of the village. At last the corpse is consumed and the headman gives a final cry. To the distant dark you are released. The villagers echo him, then drift away, leaving him alone beside the smouldering pyre. Matkina, with a hiss and a gesture, leads you over. He sniffs at the air at the sound of your approach, and with a broad smile calls out, Kina! His eyes are large, milky marbles. He puts a hand on her shoulders. You return in unpleasant times. She touches his cheek. I return because the times are unpleasant, Neng. Without another word, the three of you leave from the fire and enter Neng's dark hut. Neng's home is humble and small, hardly furnished and wholly undecorated. On entering, he lowers his weary bulk onto a cassock and gestures towards similar cushions for you and Matkina, and then begins without preamble. They hung him from a tree. Old Garib took daggers to him, called it pruning. Blind to the others' expressions, has become oblivious to his own. He wears his pain and anger nakedly. With a grunt he continues, They send him home by skimmer, along with the compact they'd made to the plains people. He waves at the crumpled sheet of paper on the floor. Tick read it to me. They've promised to put an end to our menace, Kina. He shakes his head. Why? We've always paid the blood price for whatever harm we've done. You know that. They know that. Yes, Matkina says softly, but the Sand Knights won't take shins, you know that. He grunts. The militia is there to help, Neng. You are who we stand for. The small, the threatened, the hunted. That's who we are too. She takes his hand. Come away. If you tell the knights you're going, they won't force a fight. They have bigger battles ahead of them, believe me. This is our place, Kina. Pajrekan will give you a home, trust her. Neng is silent. Okay. We could try and intimidate him. We should read the note. You unfold the compact sent by the Sand Knights. The writing is neat, plain, and small, and seems to go on and on in tightly stacked lines. In essence, it's a vow to safeguard the village and towns of the Vexulian Waste from the menacing Koln village. The Knights promise they will undertake steps to assure the killers in Koln never harm anyone again. Extermination is never mentioned, merely implied. Beneath the Knight Marshal's chop are signatures from various burghers, mayors, and elders of towns and villages on the waste. The Knights ask nothing in return from them. The signatures vow nothing. They merely endorse, justifying whatever the Knights undertake. The world is full of places, Nang. This hill of yours is nothing special. Yeah, let's guarantee it. We got the spots. Maybe that's true, stranger. This hill, this village, it's no more our home than anywhere else in the world. Then he shakes his head. But we can't go. Matkina answers. Her voice is soft but insistent. Neng, I know this is your home. It was my home too. But it's not safe here. Pajrekan has set land aside for all of you, deep inside our territory, where we can protect you. It's not so simple, he answers. Not so easy. Plain people cannot understand. Matkina hisses in frustration and gives you a look. Seems she's hoping you can move, this stubborn old fool. Okay, let's go with... It's the only time it's too late to start a new life is when you're dead. Give your people a chance to survive. If we can make it almost guaranteed. This is why we've got that, the silver tongue trait. I mean, why wouldn't we do this kind of thing? Neng nods slowly. You're right, of course, even if you've got the manners of a marauder. After a minute, he turns his blind eyes to Matkina. But we can't go without the Jacques. The what? Matkina asks. Up the hill, behind the gate, the cave's been sealed for generations. Inside is the Jacques. It's what helps us keep our worst instincts inside. If we leave its song... He trails off, gesturing to the pyre outside. He sniffs the air, then nods his head again. I'll tell you how to open the gate. He describes how each lock must be disarmed, repeating it until you're sure you both remember. Now, he says, you alone of the plains people know how to open the gate. You work your way up the terrace hillside, leaving Neng to make his case to its people. In this distance, you see the Sand Knights are on the move, riding hard towards Koln village. Neng will need to make his case to them, too. When you arrive at the cave, its huge, ancient gateway, Matkina shakes her head. For years I wondered about this, she says. The hill people tell a fable that the first men and women came out of here. They said the gate would only open when it was time for people to disappear. She shrugs. One way to keep the kids from poking away around and disturbing the Jacques, I guess. Something she said stirs your mind, and your memories jingle like a wind chime. Let's try and dig up that memory. At once, a glaring light shines over your mission. As painful as it is revealing, you're not here to help Pajrekan save Koln. You're here to help Paj destroy it. She knew the village's secret. She knew about the Jacques. Most importantly, she knew the Sand Knights would come. She knew about their compact. Their plan isn't to take the villages out of the Knights' way. In fact, it depends on causing the very battle Matkina promised would be averted. When the Knights arrive, Paj will destroy the Jacques, forcing the hill people into their feral state, unleashing them upon the Knights, weakening one of the malicious foes. And Paj is coming in person to see that all goes right. Matkina, we can't open that gate. Pajrekan is planning to destroy the Jacques, and with it the entire village. You hurriedly relate your memory of Paj's plot, how she and an armed band will be waiting to take the Jacques and destroy it, in order to unleash the Tetrarmorphs upon the Sand Knights in a living trap. So at a certain level, the betrayal is so audacious, the plot so callous, that it's unbelievable, and at first Matkina is incredulous. Then her face hardens and her eyes flash with rage. You're serious, aren't you? She scans the horizon for Paj, and so do you, but there's no sign of her. We need to get as far away as we can, draw Paj off, buy Neng time to negotiate with the Sand Knights, and keep them from the Jacques. Okay. You're barely 100 meters up the hillside before a deafening shriek fills the sky, and 7 people seem to drop out of it. One of them is a woman you know immediately to be Pajrekin. The others must be her bodyguard, tattooed cast-offs with drab armor, mismatched weapon, and the languid readiness of predators. Despite the surprise, Matkina flings a knife before they even hit the ground, and it slips between the plates of one glaive's armor. She's throwing another when a beam of light envelops her, trapping her in an energy field. As Matkina thrashes about, their attention is clearly focused on her, giving you an opening, as slight as they may be. Let's try to reason with them, because we're good at this. You barely have a chance to open your mouth before one of the bodyguards steps forward with preternatural speed and buries her fist in your gut. As you fold your knees, she tops it off with a kick to the face. While your head swims, she flips you over, disarms you, and hoists you back to your feet. Though both of you are subdued, Paj hardly seems happy. "I don't know what game you're playing at, Tash," she warns. "And I don't particularly care. I just want the Jacques. Tell me how to open the cave, and we'll go from there." She doesn't bother with a bribe or threat. Despite her soft, almost maternal features, she doesn't need to bluster. Her eyes say everything. So let's go with deception, because we are a character that is all about that. We're going to get this. Critical success. Nice. So that basically means that we rolled 10 more than we needed to. And so that was free. You quickly gin up a series of steps, and for the moment, Paj believes you. She nods to one of her bodyguards, who sets off toward the cave to test your methods. A few minutes later, she returns and shakes his head. Paj sighs and lifts a finger. Before you can react, you're sliced open by another bodyguard. As you fall to the ground, you watch them fling Matkina over the cliff. Still wrapped in her energy field, she can't even scream. Paj gives you one last annoyed glance, then leads the others away. You cannot see where they go. Darkness gathers around your vision, and a sound like a crashing wave fills your ears, and then you slough off Tasha's body, Tasha's mind, and all goes black. And there, we're going to leave this episode, because I'm pretty sure we're about to finish the mare, and that just seems like a good ending point, because it kind of is Tasha's ending point, at least for a while. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends. And in the center there is a convenient subscribe button, just in case you need it.